So now let's talk a little bit about the interior, and in particular the panel and the electrical system. So one of the things about experimental aircraft is a builder can build them any way that he or she wants to. And there's lots of variation in how builders put these things together. In terms of the electrical system, you have a choice, usually 14 volts or 28 volts, the number of buses you have. And a lot of these choices when you're building comes down to simplicity or builder preference. In this particular aircraft, I have a single bus with a diode-fed backup battery. And what this means is I actually have two batteries in the plane, and one is just for backup purposes. And I have a switch, and I'll show you later, that lets me turn on and enable my backup battery. If the alternator quits, on the main battery I have about 45 minutes where it'll still power the essential equipment. Once it runs out after about 45 minutes, here, let me power this up. So this is the main battery. I'll just let some of the avionics come up. Once it dies, I have a switch over here which enables what's called the standby battery, and it powers the essential equipment in the plane for about another 45 minutes. So in total I have about an hour and a half, 90 minutes before I have to be on the ground, before my electrical system quits. Now I also have a GRT Mini X backup EFIS, which gives me about another hour on top of that. So about 2.5 hours total before I lose all my equipment in the plane. And at the speeds we fly, this lets me go about 500 nautical miles if I lose the alternator. It's a really nice setup for making sure that I have enough time to get myself out of trouble. If you can't get yourself out of trouble in 2.5 hours, then maybe you shouldn't be in the air in the first place. The Garmin panel was put in just before I bought. The two main pieces in it are a G3X Touch and a GTN 750 Navigator. You can also see the Garmin Autopilot head just above the G3X Touch. One of the highlights for me in this aircraft is the Autopilot. It's completely coupled. It'll fly vertical profiles, it'll fly approaches for me down to minimums and probably even beyond if I let it. Quite a safety enhancing piece of equipment if for some reason I get into a situation where I can't fly the plane for whatever reason. If you take a look closer at the panel, on the Autopilot head there is a blue button, LVL, and that stands for level. If you ever lose situational awareness, maybe flight into IMC or something that you weren't expecting, and you lose the orientation of the aircraft, pressing the level button brings her back to straight and level automatically. Very nice safety feature. I'll go over all of the details of the panel a little bit more in the upcoming videos that I make, especially when I start flying.